welcome back to Unfiltered Kitchen. We are back with another episode and another topic. We really appreciate all the feedback from our parenting talks that we gave, and it's really interesting to see what your guys' parenting style is, / if you got the boot when you were 18. This week, we're going to talk about our biggest life lesson. Oh, by the way, I'm Cheyenne. I failed at the intro, but...
Oh, you're still better than that. I'm Kyle. I'm Kyle. That's Shy. It's my daughter. It's my little girl. I got another girl too, Kyle Lynn.
I got another girl too.
She's going to come join us one day too.
I know. We're going to start to bring on guests, but we wanted to get a few episodes in with you guys before we started bringing on other people.
I have this one fraternity brother.
Why am I scared?
I'm kind of scared myself.
Okay.
He says that he has worked on cracking the case of who was the stalker up in Frisco?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Boy, what was it? Give me 1 second. Talk to him for a minute. Come on.
Okay.
This is super interesting.
Okay, while you figure out what your frat brother did, this week we got proposed a question from one of you guys online, and it just got me really thinking, and I thought it was really...
The Zodiac Killer. You ever heard of the Zodiac Killer?
No, Dad.
Zodiac Killer was...
So he's telling you guys that he found the stalker?
Like he cracked the code. There was a code that he left. It's just...
So did he crack the code?
I don't know if he did or if he's cuckoo-luckoo. I don't know.
So
I think he did, though. The way he talks. It's not the first time he's talked about it.
Wait, do they know who the killer is?
I don't think anybody's ever gone to jail being the Zodiac Killer.
Does he think that he found the killer?
Pretty much. He's saying that he cracked the code.
You guys, I'm looking at my dad's phone. There's 15 people in this group chat.
Yes.
So he texts all of you guys to tell you?
Well, no. He's been telling us for years, but people have written him off.
Okay.
Okay? Like, come on, you kind of tripping. This is what he says. I would be an independent consultant to the cold case detectives. This is on working on that case.
Okay.
He's saying for years that he cracked the code. But we digress. We'll talk about it later. But I'm so
interested now.
When you talked about guests, I was just like,
that would be a guest to bring on.
I'd love to bring him in. You know, just to tell us all about it.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Let's do it. Bring him on. Anyway, This week we got proposed a question that got us both thinking. We had a few small conversations on it and thought it would be a good conversation with you guys. The question was, what is your biggest life lesson, or what has been your biggest life lesson? And then the other part of the question is, does it change with the season? So I know that I was really thinking about my answer of what's my biggest life lesson. Mm-hmm. But I also realized that you're double my age. So I think you should go first because you've lived way more life than me.
Yeah, you've heard mine though.
Maybe.
Mine's not going to be a surprise when I say mine.
Okay, let's hear yours.
It's not a problem unless you make it one.
I think that's a life motto. Life motto,
life lesson. It started off on motto, but when you learn to live that way, mm-hmm. It becomes it started off as a lesson.
Okay.
It is now a motto.
So say it again.
It's not a problem unless you make it one. And I apply it to pretty much everything and everything. And everything.
And everything.
Okay. Here. Take.
You can't apply that to everything.
Give me a subject and watch me.
Teresa cheats on you.
It is what it is.
It's not a problem unless you make it one.
Okay, look. I've had other people cheat on me, and I have forgiven them.
Okay.
Okay. It is what it is. I might have been the one cheating.
You think if you cheat on her, she's going to say, it is.
But how she handles it is different. Because
that's your life motto.
That's the way I do it. It's not a problem unless you make one. So let's see, we'll take the subject of cheating. It could have just as easily been me that was the cheater.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I know that if I cheated and got caught, I'd want a second chance.
All right.
Okay. So let's say I'm the one that got cheated on.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to give them a second chance.
Okay, let's take the subject of a deadbeat parent.
Deadbeat parent, you got to keep going. That's no excuse for you being a deadbeat.
Okay.
Okay. Or, I mean, if I'm the child of that parent, or
Yeah.
if I'm the spouse of that parent, well, hey, look, it's time for me to keep going. You can be a deadbeat by yourself. I got to keep it going. I got to keep it pushing.
I'm really over here trying to think to find a topic that's going to stump you, and you seem to have an answer for them all.
Let me tell you something. I've worked this. I learned this. I heard this when I was around 17, and it sounded good at the time, but then I kept it in my mind. But as I've gotten older, and probably when I hit in my 25, upper 20s, early 30s, is when it really started to register, and I started to better understand it. And it's easy to say the words, but to put it in practice is a little bit different. But once you do put it in practice and you really learn to understand what it means, it really does take you through a lot of things.
You don't think that taking that approach to life is almost too like relaxed or like monotone to certain things?
No, because it's not like I'm burying my head in the sand and saying I don't realize what's going on. I do realize what's going on. Okay. Am I going to make a big issue out of it, or am I going to keep it pushing? I'm going to keep it pushing.
What if it needs to be a big issue?
What needs to be a big issue? I mean, there are things. First of all, I don't want to stress.
Because you're 60?
Because I'm living. I like to live.
Okay.
I like to live and enjoy.
Okay.
Okay. It has nothing to do with being 60. Because again, I started really working this in my early 30s, late 30s. Really started working it, in the 40s. And I continue to work it hard.
Does this ever cause like problems in your relationship?
Only if you don't understand it. Because then people think that I'm being callous or casual about something.
Yeah, which would irritate me if I feel like, you know how sometimes when you argue with your mate and you want them to argue back, and if you're looking at me like it's not a problem unless you make it one, I think I would just want to smack you.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, when I go through issues, I really turn to it. It's two things. If I'm going through big headache, complicated, thought issues, there's two things I do. I do one, how would Jesus handle this? Okay. I mean,
what would God do?
What would Jesus do? I don't know God as well as I know Jesus.
Okay.
There's a lot of stories about Jesus.
Yes.
That's kind of a question mark. But Jesus is a lot of stories. So, how would he handle it? Would he be welcoming, or would he be, I don't want to hear it, get away from me? Or would he be like, hey, let's talk, let's figure it out?
All right.
Okay. Would he be forgiving, or would he be, no, I'm my pride stupid, how would he do it? So I can do that.
Okay.
And I can also, well, it's not really a problem. I'm not going to make this into a problem. Okay. It may be a problem for some folks. For me, it's not a problem. It's just living. This is the way life goes sometimes. It's not always.
Your bank account gets wiped out.
Which it has been before. I made more money. I've been broke before. I've had money and I've had no money.
Yeah.
Okay. When I didn't have any money, I went and made some more money.
You can't just sit and whine.
For what? What's that going to do? What's that going to do?
Because sometimes it feels good.
No, it's procrastination. It's self-pity. And there's nothing wrong with those things.
Yeah.
I've been a procrastinator. I'm probably still a procrastinator. Okay. But I'm a happy procrastinator. Let's put it to you like this. Sometimes my temperament is a lot different now than when I was at a younger age. There was a time I was a real hothead, would fly off the handle. Okay. So that helps keeping that all in balance. Okay. I haven't been a hothead. Every once in a while, like the other day, a couple of weeks ago, there's something happened with me and Kyle on the phone. I was hot as hell. Oh, I was way up here.
I heard.
Oh, I was way up here. I hadn't been up there in years. I was way up here. But then, after a minute, I thought about it. And I said, why am I way up here? I called her back. I apologized. But more so than the apology was, this is me getting back in balance. If this really isn't
so
a problem,
you think your motto helps you stay balanced?
Oh, it helps me stay balanced. It helps life go by, and life is good.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's not, what can't that apply to?
I'm really trying to figure it out. So far, it hasn't applied to you in finances. It hasn't affected your relationships. What about with health?
Look, if I get cancer and I die.
Oh my God. Why did you say it like that?
Well, I'm going to die anyway. Eventually, you're going to die.
You're so like, I'm just going to die. I'm just going to be broke.
No, here's the deal. Okay. Let's say because you talk about health. And the thing, a lot of people are scared of things like cancer.
Yes.
Because cancer is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potentially, maybe.
Okay. So does old age.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the difference? If I wait in old age, you got to wipe my ass. You got to change my diaper.
I don't want to do that.
I know you, and I don't want you to have to do that.
I'm going to have to make enough money to find somebody to do that.
But here's the point. So if I live to be old and someone is wiping my ass and feeding me, or I'm feeding books.
Is that living?
Yeah. So, I mean, so what? I die of cancer at 6. If I died at 65, do you know I lived a pretty damn good life? I mean, you know, pretty.
Can you guys help me with this one? Because I feel like I get his motto. Trust me, I've heard it my whole entire life. It's not a problem unless you make it one. You know, when sometimes you stand around with friends or family, you guys all like at Thanksgiving, everybody says what they're thankful for and stuff. Well, we do that a lot. I feel like sometimes in our family, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
Not only with what we're thankful for, we're just with talking. And around the time that Zach and I were getting married, a lot of people were giving us advice. Everybody was giving us advice. Unasked for advice and asked for advice. Yeah. And one day, one of my friends asked, what's been like the greatest advice your dad has given you and Zach? And I'm like, I was really thinking, but all I could think about is he only gives us one piece. Like, there's only one advice that stands out, and it's not a problem unless you make it one. And they were just looking at me like, okay. And I'm like, maybe that wasn't a good answer. But that's the one that always stands out because you've said it my whole life.
So here, and let's see how it would apply. Let's say you and Zach get into a skirmish about something.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are you going to get divorced over this skirmish?
I hope not.
Okay. Then why not squash it?
Because is that handling the problem?
The fact that you both realize it's worth squirming.
Okay, squirming.
The fact that you both realize it's an issue.
Then we solved the problem already?
Well, you both,
addressed
regardless of whose fault it was.
Okay.
You know it was an issue. Those that were at fault realized that they were at fault.
Okay.
Okay. So now they're going to do better. They should do better. If they care about the relationship, they've got to do better.
Yeah.
Okay. So why prolong the argument? The thing is to get back to peace, to get back to lovey-dovey stuff. You cook, I clean.
Yeah.
Let's go do some stuff with the kids. It's not to win a fight. It's not to win some little battle about who was right or who was wrong.
Okay.
And I share this with the boys all the time. When I say the boys, Zach and his crew, like when we're at events and I see them and you guys got to understand about these women.
These women being me and my friends.
Yes. It's all of our job to keep the relationships right. But us as men, we have to be the ones that kill all the drama.
Okay.
Because women are more emotional. There's more. Well, not to say that men can't be emotional or passionate.
I think that sometimes the guys are more petty than the girls.
Sometimes they may be, but that's why I talk to them.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that they understand that situations are going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you don't want to sit up there and stay involved in an argument trying to win the argument. You don't try to win an argument. That's not how you win, by getting your point across or you're having the last verse. The way you win an argument is to end the argument.
Is it?
It is. Because would you rather win or would you rather get back to all that stuff? But eating popcorn together, watching a movie,
which is great. But I just want to make sure that the argument is actually getting solved and not swept under a rug to blow up into a bigger argument later.
Okay, and that's fair. Okay, so you make sure that you say what you need to say.
Right.
Okay.
And he says what he needs to say.
And I'm gonna say this to you. I think it's fair. Men don't always hear the first time around.
Okay.
Okay. So next time it comes up, say it again. Maybe put some tears with it. Maybe put some. Well, I'm saying you got to make it more emotional so that the man can get his attention. Maybe you have to yell. Maybe you have to scream. Maybe you have to cry.
All right.
So that they fully understand you mean business and this means a lot to you.
All right.
So most men can take stuff and sweep it under. Men can do that. Men can get in fights with their friends and be friends.
Yes, which is so irritating to watch sometimes.
Okay. What that's but
that's men.
Well, you have to understand there's a difference between men and women, and that's just the way
I get that.
Yeah.
I will say that Zach and I have had arguments. I feel like if anyone said they've never had an argument, I'd look at them like, you're weird. Yeah. We've had a few arguments, more than a few arguments. We've argued. And I have had to learn a lot about myself within those.
You want to win every argument. I know you. I'd hate to be your husband. I think you'd make a good wife. I would say, Chey, I've had talks with you as your father.
Can I even finish my thought? Yes, I was just about to say that within us arguing, I've had to learn about myself and that I'm not a good arguer. I don't know. There was a time, and I'm working on it now. I'm in therapy. Okay. There was a time that my version of arguing was to hurt you. I was going to go below the belt.
Oh, no.
I did not know.
Where did you get that from? Come on. Really? You go below the belt?
There was a time where I was that type of arguer because, to be honest, I feel like I never saw you and Mom argue. So I didn't even know what that looked like, really.
Wasn't a problem.
I'm just saying that I feel like it's partially you guys' fight because fault that you never showed me what an argument looked like to show me what making up for an argument looks like.
Well, we actually didn't argue very much.
Oh, well, great.
Okay, well, I mean, we just didn't.
Well, I'm just saying, because of that, a lot of people are like, well, didn't you see your parents fight and make up? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I swear, I can't remember a time where I've seen you guys argue. I have one image in my head, and I don't know if I've made this image up or if it's real. But I remember walking into the kitchen, and there was spaghetti sauce everywhere.
I was like, did you remember that? No, that was real.
That's real?
Yeah, that was real.
Okay, because I've really tried to figure out for the past
That was one of the few times where we
20
really
years.
had a it was spaghetti sauce everywhere.
Everywhere, like the ceiling, the walls were covered.
It's like if it was blood, it'd be a mess. If it was blood, everybody got killed.
Yes. So that really happened.
That really did happen. Yeah. I can't remember what that was about.
Blown.
I can't remember exactly what it was about, but it did happen.
Who threw the sauce?
For some reason, I think it might have been me, but it wasn't like it was like I knocked the thing and the dish broke and
I can never get this image out of my head. Our kitchen was white, and I remember
one day we'll have your mama. We'll ask her what that was about.
I would love to know because I don't remember my parents arguing, but I just remember that one day walking to the kitchen and it was covered in spaghetti sauce.
Yeah,
covered. Yeah. So I will say I don't think that I truly ever learned how to argue because I never saw arguments. I only knew that when arguing, I wanted to win. And I knew that in my head of ignorance, that in order to win, I needed to hurt your feelings. Where I learned that that's what's now called going below the belt. That's not a healthy way to argue.
No, not at all.
You were at our house one time, and Zach and I were arguing in the room. I guess we were arguing too loud. And you said it. I came out, and you said, you need to learn how to argue better. You were going below the belt. You were not arguing correctly. And I was really standing there like, there's a correct way and an incorrect way to argue. Yes. I did not know. I'm learning now that there is. Mind you, Zach and I don't argue that much. We barely argue. And our arguments are always petty. We got into the biggest argument that lasted for 2 weeks of just...
Oh, yes.
The biggest argument. You know what it was over? The rug. There was a rug that I ordered. And he was mad that in the picture, it had orange accents, and when I ordered it, it looked pink. And he's like, I don't want a pink rug in my room. And we argued so bad over this rug. But the bigger picture was that I wasn't willing to compromise because we could have just rolled the rug up and returned it. But I didn't want to compromise with him. I ordered the rug. If you want a new rug, you order the rug. This is how bad we argued over this rug. Everybody knew there was a rug argument. My mom comes over that night. First thing she does, go into the room, go, oh, Zach, that's such a nice rug in your room. Don't you love it? I said, oh.
That's not helping.
Oh, my God. And he looked at me with so much anger in his eyes. Like, did we really just argue over this damn rug and you called your mom, told her, and then she came over here and was just as petty as you.
And signed the check with you.
Was just as petty as you were. And he said that was the day I realized there's something wrong with both you and your mother.
Oh, you 3, you 4. I'm 4 of them. Used to be 5 of you. It's down to 4 of you. You 4 get together. It's you against the world.
Yes, but whatever. So I say all that to say that I'm learning now how to argue. Zach and I are actually both learning how to have healthy arguments and how to solve them. But when we go to couples therapy, and I would say the biggest thing that I've learned out of therapy is to go to therapy before there's an actual problem. Like, okay, a lot of people told us we should do marriage counseling, premarital counseling, all these things before the wedding, which I agreed we should have, but life was happening too fast and we didn't do them. Right. We're playing catch up now. And it's not in a negative way, because I feel like when people hear, oh, you guys are going to marriage counseling, it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with your marriage? Right. There's nothing wrong with our marriage. You're
just being proactive.
We're being proactive, and it's helping us a lot. And we're relearning how to have healthy disagreements. And I did bring up one day, you know, I've kind of been taught, like, it's not a problem unless you make it one. And I think the biggest thing that I'm getting back from that is that could be my perspective, but it might really be a bigger problem to my partner.
Then you need to teach your partner that philosophy.
But that's going back to that some people have different perspectives.
I understand.
Because I know your wife, and I know that she's not walking around talking about it's not a problem unless you make it one.
Yeah, but here's the deal. She can't argue with me if I'm not arguing.
Then how did she get her point across?
Tells me.
So you guys don't argue?
Just tell me.
Do you guys argue?
She gets bothered by some things. And if she talks to me about it.
Do you make her unbothered, or do you bother her more?
No. Well, what she does is she tends to shut down.
Okay.
Okay? Like, I'm not speaking to you.
Okay. She goes on silent mode.
She goes on silent mode.
Zach goes on silent mode.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't mind silence.
Oh, anytime Zach goes on silent mode, I'm like in my head, okay, silent mode is activated, is on. I can play this game all day.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's part of why I say the objective is not to win the argument.
And that's what the therapist told me. She said, why do you think like that? I'm like, oh shit.
So again, this is what, look, I'm no therapist, but let me tell you the best thing I could tell you. I try to share advice with you. Really, you have to understand it is not about winning the argument. It's about ending the argument.
But I just feel like whenever you say ending the argument, I'm just trying to realize, is it ending the argument because the argument is done, or ending the argument because we found a solution or a resolution to whatever we were arguing about?
Okay, first of all, you have to understand it's not a problem unless you make it one. So now if you choose to make it a problem.
So if there is no problem, we're not looking for a solution.
My choice is to minimize the problem. If this is the way you want to do it, in my life, big picture, it really doesn't matter to me if the rug's got some pink on it. So go ahead. Okay? Yeah. It really doesn't matter. It really is not, whether there's pink or orange or green, it's not going to really float my boat.
To bring it back, maybe 2 weeks later, he looked at me and he's like, I like the rug. The rug grew on him. If you go and tell him right now, tell him about that rug, he's going to know exactly what we're talking about. Because our arguments have been very slim.
And see, for something like that to last 2 weeks.
Oh, it lasted forever. It would still last right now. If I brought it up right now, it would bring back all old memories. He'd get haunted by this rug.
See, where I would rather do is let that rug lay and get back to you cooking nice meals and we having good sex and, having good conversation.
And forget about the rug?
Yes.
I'm telling you, Dad, if you brought up the rug to this day, he's going to be mad.
I'll wait for the right opportunity.
He's going to still be mad.
I'll wait for the right opportunity. One day when he's a little soft, you're like, hey, Zach,
tell me about that rug you guys had.
Yeah.
You know, it's so crazy because I was really thinking all day, what was your answer going to be? What was your biggest life lesson? Mm-hmm. And I also didn't know how you were going to approach the question. Like if there was something specifically that happened in your life on this day that changed your life and that was your big life lesson.
You know what? There's been things that have really challenged that philosophy or that mantra.
Yeah.
Okay. But overall, the mantra wins. And that's been the best thing for me.
Can you think about what was the most challenging thing to that mantra? Because I've been trying to figure them out this whole time.
Probably the most challenging thing is when me and your mom decided to go our separate ways. Mm-hmm. You know, all the details around that.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it's like, okay, is this bigger than your mantra?
Yeah.
And it was like, no, it really isn't. It really isn't.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to think about things that would trump your mantra.
I've not been able to find one.
I'm interested in what you guys think. If someone was to ask you, what is your biggest life lesson to date? Number one.
What is yours? We didn't get to yours.
Oh, I didn't even think about mine. And it's.
Do we have time? We don't have time.
We'll do mine next week.
All right.
I want to know what you guys would say if someone asked you what your biggest life lesson would be. Are you answering it with like a mantra? Or are you answering it with an event that took place? Or just how would you answer that question? And then what do you think about my dad's? Name some things that you think might trump it.
Yeah.
Or if you agree or disagree, we just want some feedback on what he's saying. Because I think it's interesting. I've grown up hearing him say that forever. And it's easier for me to apply it in some ways of my life and harder to apply it in other things. And I think as an adult now and getting older and having other life lessons happen, there's some days where it does work and there's some days where it just does not work.
Give me a day when it just will not work. Well, here, let's do this. If you ever have one of those days, okay, you call me. You know,
you can explain to me how it works that day.
I can walk you right into it.
Okay.
And the door, it's going to be wide open. You can be like, oh, okay.
Okay, right. Fine. You got it.
Yeah. The thing with it is what it does is it helps keep you in balance.
Okay.
You can have highs and be happy, you know, Ace's birthday, Zach's birthday, you know, vacation trip, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fine. There can also be lows.
Yeah.
Lows aren't necessarily so fun.
Right.
So you want to prevent the lows.
By staying
in balance.
Yeah, but
that helps you stay in balance. What happens when you get too low, now you start thinking differently, maybe sometimes even desperately. Mm-hmm. You start thinking below the belt. You start thinking, how can I be even? How can I get back? And all these things aren't necessary. That's, you know.
So you think overall you're a pretty balanced person?
Oh, that is my strive. It's like the day when I told you when I went up here.
Yeah.
I was really shocked when I thought about it later because I was way up here. I mean, my shit was probably red, you know.
I heard. It's probably as red as that kitchen that I can still picture.
Yeah, the bloody kitchen.
Yeah. I really want to know what happened because I swear I've thought about that forever and I'm always like, this has to be a dream or something that I've made up in my head because it just looked that crazy. It looked like something out of a movie scene.
Have you ever seen this movie? What was the girl who used to be in
Carrie?
the Cosby? In the Cosby.
I was thinking Carrie.
No, this movie was Mickey Rourke.
I have who was that?
Okay, it was such a love scene though. It's the devil and this woman are making love. Blood that starts falling out of the walls.
Ew, Dad.
Oh no, it's crazy though. It was crazy. It was a great scene. It was a great scene. It was great scene. It was the girl who she was one of the Cosby kids. But she's grown up in this movie.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
If you guys know what movie he's talking about, let me know because I just want to watch the scene.
I'm finding the scene for you.
All right. Don't forget to follow us on our Unfiltered Kitchen on YouTube. Check us out on all podcast platforms at Unfiltered Kitchen. You can follow me at Shy Not Shy.
And you can follow me at Pretty Boy Floyd 3.
And let us know what your biggest life lesson has been.
What's my Snapchat? Do you know?
No, you made that name up. Okay. Is it your name?
I don't know what it is.
We'll put it on the screen.
Time this airs, I'll be Snapchat hot.
Follow him on Snapchat whenever he figures out what his name in his Snapchat is.
Yeah.
Oh,
see you guys.